All right, so the topic of the day is backing tracks. Now, there's a bit of controversy with backing tracks being the day and age that it is, and backing tracks are becoming a lot more common than they used to be. Now, first off, what is a backing track? A backing track is basically either the person's part in a song or the entire song or missed parts that are in a song. Say you're in a band, you've got 4 people in the band, and a song's got 6 instruments. You can't play all 6 instruments live, so 2 of those pieces are going to be pre-recorded and overdubbed during the concert. We've seen the bass player from Motley Crue play his bass without actually playing his bass. That's a backing track. I've got a Cardi B video on the channel where she is literally yelling at the crowd while her song is still playing in the background, and she's singing while she's yelling at a crowd. That's using backing tracks. Now, a bunch of the big arguments are backing tracks have been being used for a long time. Backing tracks are easier for people that want to be a full band with just one person. Backing tracks are needed. Ronnie Radke canceled a concert because he didn't have his laptops. When Falling in Reverse cancels a concert because they don't have their laptops and they're missing their backing tracks, that really sucks. Sebastian Bach from Skid Row went at him because he's from a different era. If you listen to 70s and 80s music and anything older than that, stuff that was recorded on tapes, they didn't really have a lot of chances for backing tracks. Where backing tracks came in was the rap and R&B industry, where they would take rock songs, cut them up. You used to see guys physically put albums on turntables and scratch the albums to make songs. They would record that, and then during their live shows, they would replay, and you would see the rappers jumping around and somebody playing the tracks of their songs on a mixer or turntable, their DJ. Now, that's acceptable in that genre of music, but that's also kind of where it started. Back in the day, a band called Milli Vanilli got caught using backing tracks where they stopped singing and the song kept singing. They literally got booed off stage for being fake and not authentic, and it completely and totally destroyed their career. Coming through to modern time, there's been other people that have completely and totally destroyed their career by using backing tracks because they claimed to be authentic and the fans found out that they weren't. Now, again, this is a time thing. Modern music is recorded on a grid. It's time aligned, and the human factor has almost been removed from it. It's very rare to find a band that's so tight knit that they can actually record their songs live in the studio without having to overdub and redub and retake. It's the times are different. In 70s and 80s, you had a couple of shots to make the takes. You had to know your stuff. You had to know your parts, and you had to be able to do all of it. When you were playing on stage, like Rick Beato said, the Stones never used backing tracks. They played all of their stuff. Now, you come to modern time. I ran across a guy that plays in a band. It's a small band. It's basically like one of those local bands, bar bands kind of things. But he goes and he does most of the music. He brings up points like if you're running backing tracks, you don't have to have all of the musicians. You're putting on a show. You're not doing a performance. A performance would be like sitting down and playing Mozart. Now, this is where everything kind of breaks up. You've got all kinds of different people, from the gatekeepers and the purists and the elitists down to the general public that don't care. I'm not for backing tracks if you're a big band. If you're a rock band, you should know your parts and you should be able to play them. I'm finding a lot of bands these days are turning around and they're getting people from outside. They don't have, I've run across videos where a guy's like, I'm playing for this band this week. He's never practiced with them. He's never really rehearsed with them, but he shows up on stage and plays the drums. Now, if you're a musician and you know that band's songs, you can do that kind of stuff. And you really don't need any backing tracks. Now, there is another controversy going on with click tracks, where you can actually hear your timepiece clicking away. There's a couple of videos going around with people tapping on the drummer's legs because the click track went out, and stagehands sitting there keeping in time for the drummer. You're the drummer. You should have an internal click. You're the drummer. You are the timepiece of the band. You should be good enough. You really don't need a click track to tell you what time is. Have you not played the songs enough? These are professional bands, too. These are not bar bands. So, backing tracks are basically stems. Stems are the raw parts of the song, the guitar, the vocals. When you work in a digital work area, a DAW, you've got lines. Each line can be a different instrument. Everything's mixed different. You can take each line and you can tweak it how you need. Now, some of the problems with playing live without backing tracks is mistakes are caught and they're not hidden. If you're playing karaoke on stage where you've got something behind you that's only a couple of decibels lower than what you're actually playing, if you screw up, it blends in. A lot of people are saying use backing tracks to fill the songs in. Well, sure. In that aspect, it works okay. Like I said earlier, you've got 6 instruments and only 4 people in the band. You can't play 6 instruments with only 4 people. You either hire 2 more people, which is an expense, or you throw the backing tracks in there. When Geddy Lee from Rush plays the keyboard and the bass is playing in the background, or he's playing the bass and the keyboard's playing in the background, those are backing tracks. Those are what the fans will let you get away with. Now, if it's obvious that you're playing karaoke as a professional band on stage in front of thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people, they will get upset. There will be that group of people that don't care. They're getting a good show. They feel happy with what they're getting. A lot of other people, I've seen bands booed off stage because it was discovered that they had backing tracks on. It's really kind of personal. In this day and age, it's a lot more acceptable than it was back in the 70s and 80s, even the 90s. Nine Inch Nails is a very good example. Trent did a lot of his stuff. He made his songs, he recorded his songs a lot of times, and he was the solo artist. When he went on tour, he had to hire people to tour with him to play the different instrument parts. The fans of Nine Inch Nails knew that, and they accepted that. When you go see Britney Spears or Madonna or any of those, the band is tucked away. They're kind of hidden. They're not up front. Like if you go to see Slayer or Slipknot or any of the big rock bands, metal bands, they're all up front. The drummer's tucked away a little bit, but everybody gets their time. When you've got a solo artist where the name of the band is the person, Britney Spears, Shania Twain, Madonna, these people have organizations and massive groups and lots of money pushed under them to keep them floating. The record producers and people that make their music make it so that they can go out and put on an amazing show. Whether or not they're physically singing into the microphone at the show really depends on the artist. Like I said, I've got a video of Cardi B on the channel. She's yelling at the crowd. She threw stuff at the crowd, being very unprofessional, and she still didn't get canceled. I'm really curious about that. Has this world really gotten that tolerant that they'll let stuff like that slide? But if I turn around and I say something bad about a band that's my opinion, I get roasted? Are we petty but not petty? Is that what we are now? I don't quite understand that. All I know is you lose authenticity when you use backing tracks. It becomes more of a karaoke show than an actual performance. If I'm going to a concert, I want to see something live. I want to hear the mistakes. I want to see the human aspects of the band. I don't want to see a karaoke show with people dancing around on stage. Let me know down in the comments below what your opinions are. Do you care if the band runs backing tracks? Do you think it's cheating? Some people are saying it's cheating. Other people are saying it's not cheating. When record producers and people that mix and master albums are null on the opinion, then it's all really down to the artist and the audience. So, what's your opinion? Do you think backing tracks are cheating, or do you not care? For the group of people that are into the backing tracks and really like the backing tracks, I can really understand why they have them. Somebody like myself, I do the drums, guitar, vocals, bass, everything, all myself. If I was to play live a song, even if I'm streaming it to you guys live on YouTube or wherever I'm live streaming, if I have other instruments behind me, those are backing tracks. So in an instance where you are a solo artist and you're trying to stream in these days, if you want to create your own sounds and your own music, then you need to know how to make backing tracks. There's lots of videos on how to record backing tracks. It's a real simple thing. You go into your DAW, you record the songs. You set them up in your DAW, and you have them ready to play for quick clicks while you're streaming. So if I want to play guitar and have the drums and the bass in the background playing so that I have guitar to play along with, that's backing tracks. That's kind of acceptable when you're a solo person, but when you're a professional band and you're trying to put on a show for hundreds of thousands of people live, not in your house by yourself, but actually out there live with a big budget, you really shouldn't have backing tracks. There's a time and a place for them. Live streaming is one of them. Rap concerts is one of them. R&B and pop concerts is kind of acceptable. You start getting into country, it's a little bit of a split in hairs because some country artists are bands, other country artists are names with the band behind them. You get into rock, well, rock is about authenticity, playing your instruments. Yes, they've got digital instruments. Yes, they've got digital drums. But you can really tell nowadays if the song's drums were digitally inputted on a computer or a keyboard, or if they are actually played. Is this a real drum set? Yes. Do I play it? Yes. Am I good at it? Not really. But I try to be as authentic as possible. One thing I try and pride myself on. If I'm going to be authentic, I'm going to be authentic. I'm going to be true to myself. I'm going to be true to you. You don't like what I have to say? You can't say I wasn't being authentic and true. I'm not going to change how I feel. I'm not going to change who I am. better to be true and authentic and try and give people the best of you that you can than it is to be fake and try and hide stuff. I will continue to produce music. I will continue to improve on my recording styles. I have a video going together on how to chain effects together, what my mic chains are going through all of the different stuff that I have. People say be you, be original, be unique. It'll pay off in the end. Well, I am definitely trying to be unique and original and be myself. I've got a bunch of hardware, outboard gear that I use to record with. I do not record directly into a DAW. I do not use amp sims. I do not really use sims at all. There's very few simulators that I use. I use a compressor simulator as a final catch and a little bit of amplification control. Other than that, everything goes through hardware. My drums have their own individual EQ to go through. All EQs are preset to how I need that drum to sound. This is all critical when you're making stems for backing tracks. Because if you're playing one thing and it doesn't sound the same as the backing tracks, it's going to be real obvious. The best way to use backing tracks is to make sure that nobody knows that you're using backing tracks. Simple enough. Be authentic. Be real. I'll see y'all in the next one. Have a great day.